Hi there, welcome back to Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Today we're taking on the 7-star Tera Infernape. It just released last night, I guess, although I guess today is day 1, October 4th, and that's indeed what it says here in the official release. So this Infernape is going to be available for one weekend, this weekend currently, October 4th until October 6th, and then also next weekend, which is going to be Canadian Thanksgiving. So happy early Thanksgiving to my fellow Canadians. And yeah, so we're going to take this on today, this Infernape. If we go over to GameMate.co here, this Infernape has its hidden ability, Iron Fist. So its punching moves are going to do more damage, though I don't know that it actually has any punching moves. They definitely could have given it, like, you know, Thunder Punch and Mach Punch, or even Close Combat, I think, gets a boost from Iron Fist, but I'm not 100% sure about that. But anyway, it doesn't seem to have any punching moves, but it does have Flare Blitz, Aura Sphere, Terra Blast, which is going to be a rock type move, and then Grass Knot. So if you were thinking of bringing maybe Swampert or Quagsire to this, think again, it is probably going to go down in a single hit. Throughout the raid at scripted events, the Infernape is also going to use Nasty Plot, Swords Dance, and Focus Energy. And so here's a list of the events that are going to happen during the raid. It's going to take some of our Terra Charge. It's going to reset the hour stats pretty early in the raid, actually, at 90% time, which is good for us because we're gonna start wanting to set up with the Pokemon that we're using today pretty quick. But we just got to get it down to that 90% time, and then later in the raid, it's going to Nasty Plot to boost its special attack, and then also Swords Dance to boost its physical attack, and then Focus Energy as sort of a last-ditch effort at the very end of the raid to try to maybe get some cheeky critical hits in there. So here's a few Pokemon that seem to have been successful for people doing this raid. The top two, it would seem, are Como-O and Annihilape, but I've also seen people having success with Iron Hands. I saw someone say, actually, that the contrary superpower Malamar that we used for Incineroar also having success with this Infernape. So if you already have that built, then you could probably do that again for this raid. We're actually going to build the Como-O because I've got one already in my game that I like very much. So we're going to use that one, but we're not going to use the one that is built here, or at least suggested here on GameMate.co. They've got a Terra Fighting or Stellar Terra even, Como-O. With the Impish ability, we are gonna not ability, nature, pardon me. With 252 in defense, 252 in special defense, and then 4 in HP. With the ability Bulletproof, holding the Shell Bell, and then these moves: Body Press, Iron Defense, Rain Dance, and Screech. Body Press is a move that does more damage the higher your defense stat is. So by using Iron Defense, you both increase your defense and also increase the damage that you'll be able to do using Body Press. So this is a really good combo. We are going to do a different strat. We're not going to be using Rain Dance or Screech. Over here, there's this video by Osiris, and Osiris decided to use a Como-O built by this user, Organic Guy 3462. So thank you, Organic Guy, for this build. And here's the build right here. So it's still holding a Shell Bell, still with the ability Bulletproof. That's going to make our Como-O. I don't know if you can hear that. There's a loud truck outside. Anyway, our Como-O is going to be immune to the move Aura Sphere with this ability. Terra Fighting to get maximum damage out of our Body Press. The EVs are different. We're going to do max HP, max defense, and then 4 in special defense. And then we're still using Iron Defense and Body Press, but we're also going to be using Clangorous Soul, which is Como-O's signature move. Basically, you sacrifice 20% 20% of your health to get an Omni boost, or a +1 boost to all of your stats, which we're going to do at the very beginning of the fight. And then Drain Punch to stay healthy and also build our Tera charge at the very beginning of the fight. And then after the Infernape resets our stats at 90% time in the raid, then we're going to start using Iron Defense to get to +6. So we got to use Iron Defense 3 times, and then we can start launching body presses, and then we should be good to go from there. So going into our actual game here, I have a Komodo, like I said. This is Starburst, a shiny Komodo, and it already has the ability Bulletproof, holding a Shell Bell. It doesn't have the moves yet. It has the wrong nature, and most importantly, and you might think that you not have anything that you can do if you're in this situation, its EVs are already set, but we can change them. They actually, for a long time, ever since Generation 3, have had the ability to lower EVs. So I'm gonna show you 2 ways that you can do that. First, let's get our moves sorted. So what can we remember? We've already got Clangorous Soul, so I also want Iron Defense, Drain Punch, and Body Press. Iron Defense, great. Drain Punch and Body Press, I think, are gonna be TMs. In fact, Body Press might even be an egg move. And I showed last time for the Superior Raid how to get an egg move for a Pokemon that already exists. But we might need to do that again for Body Press. So hang on, what do we have already? I need Drain Punch and Body Press. So let's see. Sort by name. Drain Punch. Drain Punch. I do have a Drain Punch. Great, we can get rid of Brick Break for that. And then Body Press is a TM. That's good. That just saves us some time. Okay, so the moves are sorted. The other thing we need to do, our Komodo's nature is Jolly. We want to change that to Impish. Impish is minus special attack plus defense. And since we're not using our special attack at all, then Impish just makes the most sense. So now, our Komodo, it's also, I should show, it is fully hyper-trained in all 6 stats, which I did at one point. So the only other thing we need to do with our Komodo here is change its EVs. So its HP is already maxed, so we can leave that alone. What you can do, if you want to fully start from scratch, they added in the DLC an item called Reset Mochi. I mean, they added Mochi anyway. Now where, I don't know where Mochi is in the bag. I should have some, but I believe, here it is. So here's this item. It's called a Fresh Start Mochi, and it causes a Pokemon to lose all its base points. By base points, they mean EVs or effort values. So if we use this on our guy, pardon me, it would completely reset its EVs to 0. But we don't need to do that because we already have a maxed out HP stat. So what we can do instead is we can go to the berry pouch, or the berry section of the bag, and there's a handful of berries here: the Pomeg berry, Kelpsie berry, Qualot berry, Hondu berry, Grappa berry, and Tomato berry. Each of these berries are EV lowering berries. So what we can do is the Kelpsie berry, for instance, lowers the attack stat. Okay, so we can use Kelpsie berries, and if we button down, you'll see it goes to 26. So using a Kelpsie Berry is kind of like the opposite of using a vitamin, where a vitamin or a mochi increases by 10 EVs. One EV reducing berry also decreases by 10 EVs. So by using 26 Kelpsie Berries, we can fully reset our Kommo-o's attack stat. So let's do that. Starburst became more friendly. That's a side effect, is it boosts your friendship as well, which is fine if you want to do that quickly. Especially, you know, if you're actually, or I guess you can't use them if you don't have any EVs. I guess it probably won't let you. So yeah, now we only have a maxed out HP. So now instead we actually want to max out our defense stat, which I'm just going to do with some irons. Do I have enough? I do. I'm going to use 25. I'm going to use resist. Yeah. 2 resist feathers. And then Starburst now is maxed out in HP and defense. And then I would have already put 4 other EVs into some other stat. I guess if I maxed out its HP and attack, I might have just put 4 EVs into speed maybe or something. Anyway, that's good enough for me. So now, if you didn't know, if you have a Pokemon that's already been built, this is a way that you can retool that Pokemon for a different spread. And I still need to use the mint, actually. Oh, never mind. I did. I forgot. Yes, when you use a mint, it doesn't change the Pokemon's, like, base nature. So Starburst will always be Jolly. But we still see when we go over to this graph here, it is plus defense minus special attack. So that has already been sorted. Okay, now we can actually go do the raid. So I've seen people having success with Iron Hands, like I said, also Annihilape. However, I've also seen folks having some issues, like using with Iron Hands, for instance, using Belly Drum and then just getting knocked out after you use the Belly Drum. Also with Annihilape, Annihilape is just a little frail. Like, yes, it can do really good damage, and it can keep itself alive with Drain Punch as well, and then it can pivot to Rage Fist after it takes a whole bunch of hits. But I think the nice thing about Kommo-o is it resists or is immune to all of Infernape's moves. So it resists Flare Blitz, it resists Terra Blast with its fighting typing, and it resists Grass Knot as well with its grass typing. And then it's fully immune, like I said, to the move Aura Sphere because of its ability Bulletproof. So I think Kommo-o is going to be the move for this raid. However, this is still day 1. Someone could still come up with something that works even better for this raid by next weekend. Alright, so let's save the game. Zach is playing Stardew Valley. You'd love to see it. Alright, let's see how we do. Challenge alone. I don't think I forgot anything. I think we've got the moves. We're hyper trained. Our EV spread is in order. We changed our nature. I think we're all set. So at the end of the last video, I had noted that there were only 3 starter Pokemon left that haven't received a 7-star raid. So after Infernape, it's just going to be Feraligatr and Torterra left to receive a 7-star raid, and then all of the starters, except for the Paldea starters. They might still do 7-star raids for the Paldea starters, we'll see. And there's Starburst. I'm a big fan. So yeah, let's open with Clangorous Soul. And we get kind of a free turn at the very beginning here when the Infernape goes for Aura Sphere with our Bulletproof ability. It's going to take some of our Terra Charge, which I don't think we had built any, so I think we might still be starting at 0, if that makes sense. We could get burned from Flare Blitz, which would be a bummer. Okay. So since it already reset our stats, I guess we can just start using Iron Defense. And we'll use this 3 times, and then we can start using Body Press. But as you can see, like, we're barely taking any damage. And again, we're immune to Aura Sphere, so we just, like, at the very start of this raid, got a free turn, which is really valuable. Especially given that we take a bit of damage just from using Clangorous Soul. But I'm sure the other build that we saw for the Komodo here that used Rain Dance and Screech, probably also very successful. So you could even find a combination. Maybe using Clangorous Soul doesn't seem very valuable to you. You could swap that out for Rain Dance. You could swap that out for Screech. Yeah. You could make your own sort of amalgamation of the 2 builds here for the Komodo, but I don't know. I like this one partly because it actually uses the move Clangorous Soul, and I don't know, any excuse to use a signature move feels cool. So we're at +6, so now we can start using Body Press, which again is a move that uses our defense stat rather than our attack stat. So that was a crit Flare Blitz, so that, like, ignored our defense boosts and got a damage increase from, you know, being a crit, and still we barely took any damage. Just, again, because the nice thing about this build too, because we're EV trained in max HP and max defense, is we're incredibly bulky. Where if we EV trained in, say, HP and attack, we would be significantly less bulky. Yes, we'd be doing more damage, but we're doing more damage anyway. I'm not Terra fighting. I'm Terra Dragon. Okay. Well, there's no sense in me terastallizing then, unfortunately. That's an oversight for sure. Definitely wanted to be Terra fighting. In fact, we might lose because of that. I always forget something with these raids. Okay, well, we might still win? Maybe? But it's gonna take longer. I think I'm gonna run out of body presses, actually. Uh-oh. Yeah, I don't think I'm doing enough damage. Oops. I knew I forgot something. Okay, assuming we're gonna lose, let me get out of here. I guess that makes sense because I caught Starburst as the baby. I caught it as a Jangmo-o, and Jangmo-o is only a dragon type. It is not part fighting until it evolves into Hakamo'o. So that makes sense, unfortunately. My bad. Alright, well, I'm gonna go change Komo'o's Terra type to fighting over in Medali, and I will be back with you in just a moment. Okay, we're back. We've got a Terra fighting Komo'o now, so this should go better. So let me open with Clangorous Soul again. Okay, so it doesn't always open with Aura Sphere. I guess sometimes it will and you'll get the free turn, but I mean, even if it goes for Grass Knot, that's still not going to do very much. And again, that's the other nice thing about this Pokemon, is it resists every other move that this Infernape has, which is really nice. We saw even when it gets a crit, it still doesn't do too much. Alright, so now we can start using Iron Defenses. It's really interesting that they got rid of the move Hidden Power in Generation 8. And I don't know, Tera Blast is like a spiritual successor to Hidden Power in a way. But I guess it can be more telegraphed now, because obviously a Pokemon has to terrestrialize in order to make the move Tera Blast become a different type. And then you also don't really have to guess what that type is. Like you know, you can see it on the giant shining jewel on the Pokemon's head. Okay, we're at +6, so now we can start using Body Press. I think if you were going to use this Komo-o with other people, it would be worth it maybe to teach it Rain Dance if no one else has Rain Dance. Just if, you know, the rest of the Pokemon, and even for yourself too, it'll just reduce the damage you take from Flare Blitz, which is valuable. And then also if you've got Water Pokemon on your team, it'll help them do more damage as well. So that could be a consideration maybe over Drain Punch. But Drain Punch is nice too, just if you ever need healing in a pinch. Even though you're using a Shell Bell, it's still, the extra healing could matter. You never know. But that's a lot of damage. The Terra fighting definitely makes a big diff. And I think too, if you wanted to farm Infernape for Herba Mystica, or whatever else you're gonna get as a reward from this raid, XP candy, vitamins, you name it. I think Komo-o here is a really good option, because I think you can get through this raid relatively quickly. And especially, like, we are never really in danger. I could have spoken too soon, because now that we're Terra fighting, we do lose the Dragon typing, so we're no longer resistant to Flare Blitz, for instance. But I mean, we're still at +6 defense, so never mind. Maybe we're just fine. maybe you just never really have to worry about getting knocked out. A crit Flare Blitz, I think, could be dangerous after you terrestrialize. That's probably the biggest thing you have to worry about. And after the focus energy, it's more likely for that to happen, but I don't know if we speed tie the Infernape or what, but we got to outspeed it there. But there we go. There's the 7-star Infernape in the books. Pretty easy with this build, I would say. You probably also have success with Iron Hands, with the Annihilate as well. You know, if you don't have access to the DLC, you could use those two Pokemon. But if you do have access to a Komo-o, then I would recommend using the Fighting Dragon. Now, I say fight, you could maybe get away with using Koraidon, potentially. Just, I don't know that. I think the biggest bonuses for Komo-o in particular are the ability Bulletproof, and then also being able to use Iron Defense Body Press. So that's why people are using Zamazenta as well. So if you've got access to a Zamazenta, I'm sure that would also be very effective for this raid. But yeah, that's the 7-star Infernape, and that's going to do it for me today. Thanks so much for watching. Good luck with the 7-star Infernape. If you've got other builds that you're finding success with, feel free to leave them down in the comments below. And if you've got any questions about how to build a Pokemon, not just for this raid, but for any raid, even if you're struggling with like 5- and 6-star raids, I've got another video as well that you can check out where I go over my full process. It's an hour long, but it goes over pretty much everything you need to know to build a Pokemon for yourself to have success in a Tera Raid. But other than that, that's going to do it for me. Subscribe for more. Like the video if you liked. Let me know how you did with this raid, and I'll see you next time. Take care.